Hey there, my name is Angela Harry, and I'm here with some of my friends today to talk to you about a product that we kind of feel is like one of the unsung heroes of our product line. We're going to talk to you today about BioCleanse, and this is one that sometimes when people look at what's on the label, they get sort of an overview of what they think it's about, and we really want to talk to you today about all the ways that this product can help you. We feel like it's such a important piece of how our products work together. It's really a synergistic effect that they have in helping to really detoxify your body and move you towards that better health and the goals that you have. And so we're going to go through, the four of us are going to talk a little bit about what we love about this product and what it's done for us, and then give you a few things about it that you might not know. So with that, I'm going to move it over to my friend Wendy and let her start us off.
Hi, I'm Wendy Stauffer, and I have been with Plexus for about 4 years. And when I first started this particular product, I really didn't know that I needed it. It was, again, I wasn't really sure because I'd heard about a couple of the others, and I thought, well, those I definitely need. So this one, this BioCleanse, I take 4 capsules a day, which is what it suggests on the bottle. And I do 2 in the morning and I do 2 at night. And what it has done for me is it just helps move things through with my digestion. And I never had an issue with bowel trouble or just struggling in that area. But I tell you, when I am on these products, it makes things just that much better, more effective. I don't have bloating. I feel like I have a flatter stomach, which a lot of us women really would enjoy having or like having. And so that's what it works for me, is that it just keeps things moving regularly and without any trouble.
Okay, so I'm up next. I'm Chandra Sherman, and as part of my health history, I have something called MTHFR. And so basically what that means is that my body has a much more difficult time detoxing. And so for my whole life, anytime I would do anything to try and benefit myself, get a massage, go to the acupuncturist, I would get really sick afterwards because I wouldn't detox well. And once I started taking BioCleanse, similar to Wendy, I didn't have constipation, I didn't have bathroom trouble, so I didn't necessarily think I needed it. Once I started taking BioCleanse, I started finally feeling like things were moving through and I was able to detox. And so it was this lovely snowball effect where I was able to constantly and finally do more to heal my body because the BioCleanse was helping detoxify it so much better.
And I'm Amber Young, and I've been with Plexus about 3 years. And I absolutely have to say that BioCleanse is one of my absolute favorite products, because of the way that I lived for so long. So for about 30 years, for as long as I can remember, really, I dealt with extreme constipation and also the opposite of that, really urgent diarrhea. And it was one way or the other, but I always had a lot of extreme discomfort and cramping and bloating and really excessive gas, as embarrassing as that all is, but that is the way that I lived. And when I started these products, the biggest thing that BioCleanse did for me is I went from going to the bathroom maybe once a week at most. I've gone as long as 2 weeks without going. And like I said, if I wasn't constipated, then I was running urgently and could barely make it. I now go to the bathroom every single day. And that alone has been life-changing. And all of that discomfort, the bloating, the cramping, the gas has completely gone away. So for the first time in my life, that part of my body is functioning for what I feel, should be normal. So that's really been great for me.
And I hear so many stories like Amber's at this point, and I think about that experience and I wonder how traumatic that is for people. And so I feel so excited to be able to give them something so natural to help them with something that's clearly just like affecting your life on a daily basis in ways I can't imagine. For me, I came to the products looking for something very different. I didn't actually have that issue. And what's interesting is this became one of my favorite products, and it was one of the ones that I put in my cart online to check out, and I wasn't exactly sure why I was doing it, but here's what I did know. What I did know is that after I did, scoured for research on every ingredient of every product, I knew that the people that I was seeing that were having kind of amazing results always included this product. And so I went ahead and put it in my cart. And when I got it, it's so funny to me that I didn't have issues with constipation. I didn't have those kinds of issues. I didn't necessarily have gastrointestinal issues in general, although I did have my gallbladder removed. So that might be a little contradictory, but I didn't feel that kind of thing. What I do know is that when the product started to change my life, the trio that I started on, I started thinking as a financially, aware person, well, I'm going to drop one or two of these. One of them's helping me for sure, but I don't know which one it is. So I tried to drop one at a time. And so when I dropped the BioCleanse, I definitely didn't feel as good. And in fact, it turned out I needed all three. And that was when I felt my optimal and felt my best. It was a lot like what Chandra described, that I just started to feel like things were moving the way that they should be. And I just felt like lighter and brighter. I just felt very different. And I couldn't quite explain that. I think it has to do with the oxygenation, which you're going to hear about in a little bit. And so it wasn't one that I could drop. It wasn't one I was willing to drop. And interestingly, Wendy talked about that she takes 4 a day. And I actually take 6 a day. And so one of the things we just want you to know is that you're going to find your own sort of perfect, sweet spot with that, with the dosing. And something a little bit different works for each person. And it's very customizable. So let's talk a little bit about why that is.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about one of the ingredients that's in it. One of the main ingredients you're going to see is magnesium. And so often now people are reading more and finding out more about deficiencies in different areas and how those deficiencies are affecting us. Well, one of the things that I want you to know about magnesium, and as we talk about this, we're going to keep it, kind of surface level. So if we talk about something that catches your interest and you want to find out more information, by all means, please go back to the ambassador that shared this video with you, and they can give you the ingredient details that you can go and research on your own as well. But one of the things about magnesium is that more than 300 chemical processes in the body rely on magnesium. And if you're magnesium deficient, your body is not able to be a well-oiled machine really working well. So what are some of those things? And just to give you a few, normal muscle function and a healthy immune system, your steady heartbeat, blood glucose levels, production of energy, and strong bones. These are just a small portion of really important benefits when you have a proper magnesium level.
Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is why BioCleanse is different from magnesium. Because if you go to the grocery store or your natural food store, you will see lots of magnesium supplements. So I get asked all the time, how is this one different? So it's different based on how it's made and how it functions in the body. So it's made through an advanced proprietary process where they take ozone, peroxide, and magnesium, and those are merged and bonded together. And so I sort of think of it as air bubbles trapped in ice. That's how I sort of think about what's happening in that chemical reaction. And then in BioCleanse, another ingredient is vitamin C and bioflavonoids. And so the purpose of them are that once they get into the gut and they meet up with that bonded magnesium, it breaks that bond, and those oxygen is able to come out into the gut. And so I sort of think about like scrubbing bubbles in your bathroom, or even hydrogen peroxide. If you ever had your kid get a cut and you put hydrogen peroxide on it and you see it bubble up and take that sort of action, that's what happens when these two things break apart and they start to scrub out what's going on in your intestines. And if you think about your kitchen sink and the pipe under your sink, sometimes you get that gunk around the sides, and water can still flow through. So even if we are still using the bathroom every day, it's quite possible that we have some intestinal plaque or some gunk lodged in there. My husband likes to joke when you release that to look for G.I. Joe guys and marbles from when you were a kid. Hopefully it hasn't been there that long, but that's the idea. And so that's one of the amazing benefits of BioCleanse. It's going to get in there and scrub all of that off. And then once all of that is removed from this lining of your intestines, then they're more permeable and they can let through the amazing nutrients and things that we want and that are our intended function of the intestines.
So I get the pleasure of talking about how often we should be going to the bathroom. Of course, because it was such a big part of my life, because I didn't get to go as often as I should be. And yes, my health suffered significantly because of that. And so many of us are told, like, maybe we're having some bathroom issues and we go to the doctors, and I don't know, I think I've heard, and I know a lot of my friends and family have heard this from a doctor, well, that's just your normal. You know, you could say, I go twice a week, 3 times a week, every other day, and they'll just say, well, that's just your normal, as long as you're consistent. And that's really not true. And I don't want to say don't listen to your doctor, but there is a difference between what is healthy functioning for your body, and if you're having health issues and problems, then there's going to be a correlation between your bathroom habits almost all the time. So I like to think about it as a car wash, right? If something is going in, you're eating a meal, something's got to be coming out. So if you're taking food in and something is not coming out, then there's going to be a backup in that car wash. So when there's a backup, what is happening? So when we go to the bathroom, we're eliminating waste, and waste that are toxins. So if that waste isn't coming out, those toxins are staying inside of the body and they are being reabsorbed by the body. And obviously that can make us sick. And that's one of the things that happened to me as a child. As I became so impacted, I actually got a fever of 104 degrees. It was the toxins were making me very sick, to the point where I had that severe fever. Along with that is, if there's a buildup in there, there's a lot of different things that can go wrong with us not being able to absorb nutrients correctly, because it starts to kind of break down the lining in your gut. And also that's where our good microbes live. So if there's no space for them to live and help keep us healthy, because things aren't moving through properly, that can also cause a lot of issues too. So again, we should be going at least every day. I like to think about, if you've ever gotten a puppy and that puppy goes poop every time you feed it, that's really what we should be functioning like, right? We eat and it actually should stimulate our digestive tract to produce a bowel movement. And so just like a puppy, that's really how we should be functioning.
Yeah. So that's a really good analogy. And I think that, so now you've heard from the 3 of them how this process looks, and I get to talk to you about how it wraps up and how we make sure that the process continues. So when Chandra was talking about it doing that scrubbing action and starting to get rid of some of that plaque, and Amber was talking about the impacted matter, what can happen at that point is that the oxygen can then start to move through and travel through the body and kill or sort of metabolize those toxins that are in your body, which is a really important thing. And I think it's something we need to give a lot of consideration to, because it has a lot to do with how we're feeling. It had a lot to do with how I was feeling before I found Plexus. And so having those toxins get out of your body is really important. And at that point, when the plaque and all of that, the dead pathogens and that necrotic matter is sort of liquefied and it starts to move its way out of the body, that magnesium that Wendy was talking to you about then creates like a flushing action to make sure that it doesn't get reabsorbed, because that's a really important part of the process. So I know that sounds like a lot of fun. And this is one of the products that people like to go, oh, I don't know if I need that one. We're telling you, you need this one. It's interesting how we all learn to sort of live feeling less good than we should be, and we just get really accustomed to it. And I always say, and I think a lot of us do, it's like that analogy of, you know, how a frog, you can put it into room temperature water and you can just turn that heat up until it's boiling, and that frog will never jump out because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel that it's heating up. And I think that's how we live. We just start to get used to things not working the way that they should. So I love BioCleanse. It's one of my favorites.
BioCleanse.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to talk to you about a couple of other videos. And like Wendy said before, if you have more in-depth questions and want to know more about the science, we're your girls, or go back to your ambassador that introduced you to the products.